Today I'm outside Kjellvik and it's very windy. It's about 28 knots. Too much wind to have the sails up. I take down the sails and start with some upwind paddling to at least make it out of the harbor. I'm gonna try to set the sails here in the bay behind the trees. You can see it's a bit lee here behind the higher trees. Here in the lee of the islands, the gust comes from several directions. The pontoons turned out fine. Sliding through the water in less wind. And pushing upwind when more loaded. The mast holds the sails well against the gusts. The construction feels very safe. So I set course downwind over the more open bay. And reach 5 knots. Sudden wind shifts that would have capsized other kayaks are no problem with the rotating beam connector. The only problem is that I need to use the paddle as an extra rudder to compensate for the hydrofoil pressure. This reduces speed. But 4 knots is no problem. I can accept reduced speed for increased safety. Still, I will try to reef to see if that leaves more of the pontoons above water. It will be easier behind some shelter. Here behind the rock and the reed, I can get some lee. You can see that there is lee as there is 1 centimeter ice here. With some shaking I get down the Günter top. I have not bothered to put lines in the reef holes yet, but it works with just binding up the sheet reef point, so I can leave the ice for a second wind test. Definitely a lot calmer and not so much hydrofoil pressure. Despite the sloppy appearance, this works very well. Here in the opening, the wind power peaks. but everything behaves very fine. So I decide I earned a lunch break. I have to fight the side wind. With the paddle I can compensate for the hydrofoil pressure and make it behind the lee at Storholmen. It is a bit hard to access the shore. There is ice at the lee side of most islands. As I set up the kitchen, a swan takes off. My favorite outdoor meal, goulash. Now it's hot enough. Out on the bay the wind is blowing your mind off. Here I am protected by the rock. The gusts are chasing each other over the water. It might get hard to get back. For this short passage, I just pack the sail against the mast. Maybe I should have packed it below deck. I have to give it my best to get over. The droplets are almost freezing before they hit my face. Slowly I'm making it. Let's try how the new pontoon profile handles ice. Great. It's a bit tricky to get in between the booms. I have to reverse in as the wind is pushing me. But I get in at last. And gets out of the water before the weather approaches. I forgot the glove. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time. If you liked this episode, you might like this as well.